Duty bound. New tonight on our news live at 7. The National Security Minister says officers will carry out their functions even if they're off duty. This as a Defense Force officer is now in police custody following a shooting. A fringe political party says just do it right when it comes to granting citizenship, joining the opposition calling for the immigration minister's resignation. Plus, possible flooding at the site for a new hospital in New Providence. The health minister not concerned. And then in our news at 7:30, more help on the way for Zuma residents who were victims of recent massive flooding. Our news live at 7 starts right now. Thanks so much for joining us tonight. I'm Kendino Knowles. We're coming to you live from Margaritaville in downtown Nassau as we continue to celebrate our country about to turn 50. Special thanks tonight to Bahari for outfitting me and the entire Our News team. We've got lots of Independence highlights and views from around the hotel to get to. But we begin with a Royal Bahamas Defense Force officer who is in custody tonight after shooting a man in an altercation at a bar. The National Security Minister now on the defense saying officers are duty bound even when they're not on the clock. Bethany McDermott gets us started tonight.
Days after Defense Force officers shot a man outside a bar, National Security Minister Wayne Munro is defending law enforcement officers who are off duty.
So an officer has a duty to continually carry out his functions of being a law enforcer. The incident with the Marine is, I don't know what the facts are. As I said, the police are investigating, but these persons are also human beings.
Police said shortly after 4 a.m. Saturday at a bar on West Bay Street near Saunders Beach, the officer got into an argument with a group of men. The officer allegedly produced a handgun and fired gunshots at the men. That ended in the victim being shot multiple times, even though he was not involved. The victim remains in hospital.
And when something happens like that, the first thing that happens is the police becomes involved, the intelligence section of the Defense Force becomes involved, and they investigate it.
Munro says the officer is still in custody. He also suggested it's not unusual for people to act out of the law.
If you're asking me, what is my concern that an individual can do something that breaks the rules? That can happen in any organization. You can have lawyers acting improperly. You can have doctors acting improperly. The response to it is training.
Now, while he defended law enforcement officers, Munro stressed that the matter is still before the police. Reporting for Our News, I'm Bethany McDermott.
All right, thanks a lot, Bethany. Meanwhile, two men, ages 19 and 27, in hospital after a shooting in Pinewood Gardens last night. Police tell us the victims were standing outside a home on Croton Street just before 10:30 when three gunmen in a Nissan Q pulled up and opened fire. The victims were later taken to hospital. We're told they remain in stable condition. And from the Court of Appeal, a convicted child rapist will remain behind bars after it upheld his conviction and 8-year sentence. Shervin Brown was convicted of unlawful sexual intercourse with a 13-year-old girl who he met on Facebook. Prosecutors allege Brown, who was 22 at the time, had sex with a minor on 3 occasions back in 2022. Now, back in 2020, that is. Now, the court found Brown's challenge, that is, to his conviction, it had no prospect of success. Now, regarding his sentence, the court ruled the penalty was not unduly harsh. And a protest by members of the Coalition of Independence today who gathered outside the office of the Prime Minister. They were calling for the resignation of Immigration Minister Keith Bell. The demonstration comes after Bell was recently caught in a viral audio clip granting citizenship to 3 people at a funeral. We've got much more on this coming up in Our News at 7:30 with Italia Hall. Be sure and stay tuned. All right, and now to health officials who say they are not concerned about flooding at the site of a new hospital on New Providence. And we learned a few weeks ago the property will be situated between the 6-legged roundabout and Propul track. Here's Health and Wellness Minister Dr. Michael Darville responding to concerns.
We beg to disagree. The environmental impact assessment has been very favorable for the location. In front of the location, there is some wetlands that we are concerned about, but of course, we intend to ensure that that is not disturbed. And we are focusing on the high ground, which falls within the 45 to 50 acre plot that has been allocated for the new site.
We've got much more to get to in our live broadcast from one particular harbor this evening, but it's time now for your first look at temperatures. Meteorologist Greg Thompson, he's back in the studio with your first look. Greg?
Yeah, thanks, Kendi. Happy Tuesday evening, everybody. Another warm day around the islands. Temperatures now into the mid to upper 80s, 86 degrees outside our studios. A few clouds. Your winds are out of the east-southeast at 9 miles per hour, and your field slight temperature is at 89. It's 86 in Freeport right now, as well as in Marsh Harbor, Abaco, Great Harbor Key, Nichols, San Andres, and in Governor's Harbor. Alistown, Bimini, you are the warm spot in the northern islands. Central Bahamas, 86 in Kemps Bay, Georgetown, Arthurstown, Cat Island, and in Deadman's Key. Copenhagen, San Salvador, 84, and into the southeast Bahamas. 86 in Duncan and Ragged Island. Pair of 85s in Colonel Hill, Cricket Island. Delectable Bay, Acklands, 85. Abrams Bay, 87. Matthewtown, Inagua, 86, and our neighbors to the southeast, Turks and Caicos Islands, you are 87 at this hour. Satellite and radar composite showing some moisture streaking across the northwest and portions of the central Bahamas. That's courtesy of an upper level trough that's just to the east of us, or actually an upper level low. That's bringing some moisture across our area. So we're looking for some showers and some isolated thunderstorms tonight to tomorrow. Things will quiet down a little bit, but by Thursday we expect another round of showers to move across our area, and more showers will be in the forecast by that time. That's your first look at weather. Stick with us. A look at your extended forecast is still to come.
Still to come on our news, our live broadcast from Margaritaville continues with a taste of tropical luxury. Then it's off to Trinidad, where Prime Minister Davis is among CARICOM leaders making the first steps towards the next 50 years of partnership. And it's 4th of July, Americans celebrating on Bahamian beaches. Why the Bahamas for their biggest holiday? Find out when our news returns.
Make your mornings brighter with Our News This Morning. Live from Margaritaville in downtown Nassau. Starting July 3rd to 7th, the team you already trust helps start your day informed and inspired. Join us from 6:30 a.m. for the latest headlines, riveting stories, and a view of the world that matters to you. Don't forget to set your alarms. Our News This Morning on Channel 212 and the Our News Bahamas Facebook page.
Welcome to The Rewind, an Our News monthly podcast
where we discuss various different topics in the Bahamian society.
I'm your host, Jasmine Lundy.
I'm your co-host, Janae.
I don't like eggs enough.
I get the vibes.
Right, let's put that on a shirt.
Go by our last name.
Yeah.
This is The Rewind.
Welcome back to Our News, broadcasting live from one particular harbor and Margaritaville Beach Resort. Now, Margaritaville is known for its fun and tropical vibes, but for those wanting a taste of tropical luxury, its sister property, one particular harbor, is your answer. Marlena Leonard sat down with condo manager Mark Shalama for more on the elevated experience. Marlena?
We have about 150 rooms, and from these 150 rooms, we have 55 suites, and the rest are all studio king beds or studio full size.
Yeah, so we did get to sit down with condo manager Mark Shalama, and he basically told us, the painstaking steps that they go through to make sure that it feels luxurious, but you still know you're on an island. So you have all of these elevated fixtures, all of these new amenities, and even the navigator experience. But at the end of the day, it still feels tropical and it doesn't feel stuffy, and you can find out more about it in this report.
We have about 150 rooms, and from these 150 rooms, we have 55 suites, and the rest are all studio king beds or studio full-size beds, meaning that every room in this building has a kitchenette. So if you're coming over here, you're able to cook, you're able to, just really treat it kind of like it's your mini apartment, so you're home away from home. That's what we like to call it.
Mark Shalama is the condo manager at one particular harbor, and while his job may sound simple, it's his job to make sure your experience is one to remember.
My job entails pretty much overseeing the whole building. Any aspect from checking in guests, making sure that the rooms are in working order and up to guest expectations or even higher, to making sure that our housekeeping department is taken care of, that our Joe Merchant's Cafe is up and running, pool deck is in beautiful order, and of course, bringing new items to the table at all times to, stay with the times and kind of, it's the right word I'm looking for, be the leader in new innovations in the hospitality industry, and add additional things that you wouldn't see at other hotels.
And while he can't help but gush with excitement about the activities and amenities like the pool, cafe, garden areas, and gym available at one particular harbor, he says there's also an aspect they can't take full credit for: the beautiful natural views.
We have amazingly beautiful 1-bedroom, 2-bedroom, 3-bedroom, and 4-bedroom suites with what I think is the most beautiful view that you could possibly get of this island is of the harbor. Basically, you see ships coming in every day, leaving every day. It's just breathtaking. I've been here now for 8 months and I'm still in awe after every single day.
And if the luxurious rooms and views aren't quite enough for you, he says one particular harbor also takes things to the next level when it comes to service, with their take on butler experiences called the Navigator Experience.
Our Navigator experience is really taking it to the next level of personalized service, but keeping the Margaritaville theme of fun and escapism in mind.
And when you think of that Margaritaville theme, we look at the name of Margaritaville, and if you're anything like me, when I looked at one particular harbor, I kind of wondered how that name fit in. Well, they're both named after Jimmy Buffett songs. So it's still that perfect match, that brand recognition. And we have more on the Navigator experience coming up at 7:30. Back to you, Ken.
All right, thanks a lot for that, Marlena. Definitely looking forward to that next feature. When our news comes back from the break, we turn our spotlight to stories making headlines across the world as Japan wins nuclear approval for a Fukushima water plant. Plus, investigators probing a Monday night shooting in a Fort Worth, Texas parking lot. At least 3 people are dead and several wounded. And a Jamaican is charged for the deaths of 2 missionaries 7 years ago. The story when Our News returns. This is our news. Welcome back. We turn our attention now to stories making headlines across the world. Japan won approval from the United Nations nuclear watchdog for its plan to release treated radioactive water from the tsunami-wrecked Fukushima plant into the ocean. It comes despite fierce resistance from China and some local residents. Japan's government maintains the process is safe, insisting it will act with transparency, saying it has treated the water used to cool the fuel rods of the Fukushima plant after it was damaged by the 2011 earthquake and resulting tsunami. Japan hasn't specified a date to start the release of the water. That's said to be enough to fill 500 Olympic-sized swimming pools. A shooting just before midnight on Monday in a parking lot in Fort Worth, Texas, left at least 3 people dead and several wounded. One was pronounced dead at the scene and 2 others died in hospital. Others were also hospitalized and their conditions unknown. The reason for the shooting wasn't immediately clear, but reports say there was a large crowd gathering in the parking lot at the time of the shooting.
For midnight, just before July 4th, we had a shooting. It appears that we had multiple victims that were shot. Probably 3 of them were transported to Harris Southwest. 5 more victims were transported to John Peter Smith. Right now, we know that 2 persons have succumbed to their injuries and have passed away from being shot at this point.
Vietnam has banned Warner Brothers' highly anticipated film Barbie from domestic distribution. State media reported on Monday the decision came because of a scene featuring a map that shows China's unilaterally claimed territory in the South China Sea. Barbie is the latest movie to be banned in Vietnam for depicting China's controversial 9-dash line. In 2019, the Vietnamese government pulled DreamWorks' animated film Abominable, and last year it banned Sony's action movie Uncharted for the same reason. Netflix also removed an Australian spy drama, Pine Gap, in 2021. And now to the region where a Jamaican taxi driver from the eastern parish of St. Mary has been charged with murder 7 years after the killing of 2 missionaries from the United States. In April 2016, missionaries Randy Hetzel and Harold Nichols were seen leaving the community of Tower Isle in the parish. Later that day, Hetzel's body was found in bushes, and the body of Nichols was found the following day. Hetzel died of a gunshot wound, while Nichols had gunshot and chop wounds. Thomas was jointly charged with farmer Dwight Henry, who pleaded guilty earlier this year. And finally, more than 100,000 Havana residents are without power, or without water that is, raising tensions on the streets of Cuba's capital. This is government scrambles to find a solution. Cuba's state-run ministry, or media that is, has reported the shortage, which is said to result from aging, decrepit infrastructure and affects up to 250,000 residents. Cubans are already suffering one of the communist-run country's worst economic crisis in decades, battered by tough U.S. sanctions and a pandemic hangover and floundering tourism. Also from the region tonight, CARICOM leaders began the first steps towards the next 5 decades of regional partnership to tackle their collective challenges. Peter Richards reports.
Prime Minister Rowley expressed confidence that future generations will look back approvingly on the outcome of the Golden Jubilee talks.
Our region has been buffeted by many systemic storms. Throughout all of this, the majority of the people of our region have proven themselves to be resilient.
In his address, CARICOM Chairman and Dominica's Prime Minister Roosevelt Skerritt said CARICOM has achieved much over the past 50 years.
We deserve to be proud of our history. It is no mean feat that we have the longest surviving economic integration movement in the developing world.
Reflecting on his chairmanship of the regional bloc, Prime Minister of the Bahamas, Philip Davis, said there had been marked progress on a number of issues, including addressing crime in the region. Davis, however, acknowledged the unresolved humanitarian, security and political crisis in Haiti, CARICOM's largest member nation.
The Bahamas remains committed to acting as a lead with other CARICOM member states to find a solution to the ongoing humanitarian and security crisis there.
The The summit is attracting a number of high-profile guests, including UN Secretary-General Antonio Guterres, Prime Minister of South Korea Han Duck-soo, and the U.S. Secretary of State Antony Blinken. Leaders will begin deliberating their agenda behind closed doors on Tuesday and will brief the region on their decisions Wednesday evening. Reporting for Our News, I am Peter Richards in Port of Spain, Trinidad.
Still to come in our news today in history, find out interesting facts about the day that was July 4th. And then in our news at 7:30, a fringe political group, the latest to call for the immigration minister's resignation. Plus, on the defense, the national security minister answers questions about how police missed the body of a murdered man the night before. His response when our news continues. So you need Welcome back to Our News, coming to you live from Margaritaville Resort in downtown Nassau as we celebrate on the road to 50 years of independence. We've already been outfitted this week by Bahari, those jackets you may have seen us wearing, bearing the coat of arms yesterday. But tonight, our outfits are by another luxury Bahamian brand. You probably know it, Bahama Handprints. We want to thank them for these lovely outfits, which you'll get to see more of in a moment. But for now, it's time to turn our spotlight on events that shaped the day that was July 4th. Take a look.
On this day in Bahamian history, in 1948, Edison Rosanda Ambrister was born in Nassau. Ambrister was a professional baseball player in Major League Baseball, playing 5 seasons for the Cincinnati Reds from 1973 to 1977. At the time, he was one of 7 Bahamian ball players to reach the Major League field. Ambrister started his journey as an amateur free agent and made his professional debut in 1967 with the Cocoa Astros of the Florida Star League. At first, he was an average player, but over the years with hard work and dedication, he was transformed into the baseball star we know today. In parts of 5 seasons, he played in 224 games, having 65 hits, which included 11 doubles, 6 triples, and 4 home runs. Thanks to his hard work and dedication, Ambrister won the World Series championships in 1975 and 1976. In 2008, he was inducted into the Bahamas National Hall of Fame and passed away on March 17, 2021, after battling with diabetes for several years. Then, in 1983, the Commonwealth of the Bahamas joined the Caribbean Community, CARICOM, as the 13th member state. CARICOM's main purposes are to promote economic integration and cooperation among its members, to ensure that the benefits of integration are equally shared, and to coordinate foreign policy. Established by the Treaty of Chaguaramas, CARICOM was signed by Barbados, Jamaica, Guyana, and Trinidad and Tobago on August 1, 1973. Currently, CARICOM has 15 members, including Antigua and Barbuda, Bahamas and Barbados, to name a few. And finally, in 2019, billionaire Chris Klein's helicopter crashed on Grand Key, Abaco, Bahamas. The helicopter took off from Big Grand Key and was reported missing more than 12 hours later when it didn't arrive in Fort Lauderdale, its intended destination. Local residents and police discovered the helicopter overturned in 16 feet of water, 2 miles off Grand Key in Abaco, and recovered the bodies of 4 females and 3 males. The helicopter, which was carrying 6 passengers and the pilot, crashed shortly after takeoff. On board included American coal magnate Chris Klein, his daughter, 3 of her friends, and 2 other persons.
All right, here at home, we're well on the road to 50, only days away in the countdown, but for our American neighbors, their big day is today. Marlena Leonard, she was on Junkanoo Beach to witness all the red, white, and blue.
Bahamian beaches were dotted with red, white, and blue today as American visitors celebrated the 4th of July. But why come to the Bahamas on their biggest holiday of the year? Angel from New York tells us,
I've been to other Caribbean islands and I wanted to visit Bahamas. We here last week. We visit local places, the fish fry, Bahama Grill, tried the ribs, corn, everything you can imagine from Bahamian culture, and we love it. So unforgettable trip and not disappointed about Bahamas.
This is the first time Sydney has ever traveled outside of the United States.
We just wanted to come on a cruise, and this is where it was coming, so we just decided to take a stop and get off the boat and explore. I think we're just gonna have some fireworks on the boat and then just hang out and chill.
For Jessica and her friends, the 4th of July is more than just America's birthday. It's also her birthday.
My birthday and time to spend time with my friends. Just enjoy the view and some in the ocean and just have fun.
We also asked them how it feels to be here while we gear up to celebrate our Golden Jubilee.
It's just feel pretty cool and amazing, to come to another country and also celebrate their independence. I'm sure it's significant for you guys, just as 4th of July is for us, so it's a big thing for us back in the States. But love the culture, love the music, love the food, and love just the people here. Just very, very happy about it.
Happy 4th of July. Reporting for Our News, I'm Marlena Leonard.
All right, thanks a lot for that, Marlena, and we'll hear from Marlena again coming up in Our News at 7:30. That does it for us in News at 7. Joining us now is Italia Holm. She's got the latest headlines. Italia, that dress, so pretty. Bahama handprints, right?
Yes, and our outfits, your shirt, everything has been great.
Yeah.
All right, well, coming up, we have lots of news to get to in Our News Live at 7:30. A stern request, new tonight on Our News Live at 7:30.
More calls for the immigration minister's resignation. This time, the Coalition of Independents are speaking out. Those details straight ahead on Our News.
And on the defense, the National Security Minister answers questions about how officers had to be called back to the scene of a deadly shooting. Also, a patriotic display. We'll show you what Bahamian pride looks like as the road to 50 continues. And later, a home away from home. That's the experience you can expect at one particular harbor at the Margaritaville Beach Resort. Marlena Leonard is live on location. Our News Live at 7:30.
If new, Heineken Silver was a riveting Viking saga.
Last the 12th, your family tortured my first wife and stole my second favorite goat. Now you want to marry my daughter. Okay.
All the taste, no bitter endings. Smooth, fresh, silver.
Here, in the heart of Nassau, we welcome you to Bahama Handprints. Since 1966, we've been designing and manufacturing one-of-a-kind fabric. Every yard is printed by hand, and every garment and accessory crafted with expert care. Meet Les, our head printer for over 30 years. Les delicately prints each swath of fabric in our Harbor Bay factory, a skill he has mastered over decades, a true labor of love. Our islands inspire the vibrant colors and tropical motifs synonymous with Bahama handprints. Our team of artisans passionately creates an array of apparel and accessories for women, men, and children. A visual feast, designed, and made locally. Visit our factory store in Harbor Bay today to see it unfold before your very eyes, or visit one of our 2 boutiques located in Sandyport, Nassau, or Governor's Harbor, Eleuthera. Bahama Handprints. Boldly Bahamian.
Welcome to our news at 7:30. I'm Natalia Hall. You're watching a live look outside the beautiful Margaritaville Beach Resort in downtown Nassau. And a special thanks tonight to Bahama Handprints for outfitting our entire news team this week. Well, more calls for the immigration minister's resignation following an unusual granting of citizenship tonight. The Coalition of Independents are speaking out. Jamila Mizik reports.
While government ministers gathered for the weekly cabinet meeting Tuesday morning, protesters gathered outside the office of the Prime Minister, calling for the resignation of Immigration Minister Keith Bell.
We are going to give them 1 week time because this is urgent. We are going to subpoena access to their computer system. We are going to subpoena all of the documents.
Bain and his supporters were armed with a letter addressed to the Prime Minister demanding Bell's termination. You may recall the immigration minister was recently caught in a viral audio clip granting citizenship to 3 people during a funeral service.
This is unacceptable. Take it back to the people's building. Let the public officers them do their job, and then Minister Keith Bell, then you sign off.
But the coalition wasn't alone in their fight. Free National Movement MP Iram Lewis also calling for Bell's resignation. Now this is the second group to protest against the immigration minister. Last week, the Free National Movement staged 2 protests calling for Bell's resignation. However, Bain is calling for the opposition to do more.
They should be filing a judicial review, but we are going to do so. And if they want to join in, they are welcome to do so.
Now, after several attempts to hand-deliver the letter to the Prime Minister's office were blocked by police officers, the permanent secretary in the office of the Prime Minister, David Davis, met Bain personally to collect, inking his signature to confirm receipt. As for the government's position on calls for Bell's termination, Acting Prime Minister Chester Cooper says,
Minister Bell has the support of Prime Minister Davis.
Reporting for Our News, I'm Jamila Mizik.
All right, thanks for that, Jamila. Well, National Security Minister Wayne Munro is again defending law enforcement officers after a man's body was found at the same scene where 2 police officers were shot the night before.
Why do you all assume that they were right there? Because the reports...
That's what Superintendent Johnson said.
They're in the same area. The reports that I heard is that the young man's family went looking for him in that area and also didn't see him. So the same area is just that, the same area.
Well, Sunday night, 2 officers at an event on Marshall Road were shot and rushed to hospital. Early Monday morning, police were called to the same residence and found the dead body of a 29-year-old Gareth Pyfrom.
They went to the hospital, a unit responded, went to the area, found Spence, saw nothing else. In the morning, a body was discovered, no Spence anywhere near it. Without knowing exactly where it is placed, and one cannot know what the circumstances are. West Bay Street is in the same area of where we're standing now. St. Albans Drive is in the same area that we're standing now.
Well, a 20-year-old man of Hepburn Town, 8 Mile Rock, is assisting police in Grand Bahama with a sexual assault investigation. Police say the victim, a 19-year-old woman of Honduras Drive in Freeport, was attending a pool party at a home on Seaview Lane when the incident occurred. Well, Acting Prime Minister Chester Cooper says Exuma residents have gotten a lot of support since last month's historic flooding, but he admits there are new challenges.
One of the things that concern us now is the possibility of the breeding of mosquitoes in the water that's been stagnant for some time. I've spoken with the minister responsible for the environment, and we are looking at providing more support for the local health and environment teams on the ground.
Well, we've got much more to get to, but first we'll check in with meteorologist Greg Thompson in the Weather Center. Greg?
Yeah, thanks, Natalia, and welcome everybody for a quick check on conditions outside our studios. It's 86 degrees, warm and humid outside our studios right now. Your winds are out of the east-southeast at 9 miles per hour, and your field strike temperature is at 89. Satellite and radar showing some showers and some isolated thunderstorms occurring across the northwest Bahamas early today. Most of the activity is dying, but we will continue to see this trend tonight through tomorrow as the moisture lingers. Upper level low to the east of us will be bringing us some more moisture, so we're looking for more showers and some thunderstorms in our forecast. That's your quick check on weather conditions around the island. Stick with us. A look at your extended forecast is still to come.
Still to come on our news, are you looking for a home away from home this Independence weekend? You may find that experience at one particular harbor. We are live. Also, we are 6 days from the country's 50th year of independence. How proud are you to be a Bahamian? And later, a legendary voice remembered as the country prepares to celebrate its anniversary. That's all coming up when our news returns.
At Doctors Hospital, our lamp just got brighter. The Loyalty Advantage membership program now has 3 unique plans to choose from. From Lamp Prepaid with free prime care visits and service line discounts, Lamp Insured with copay waivers and 0 upfront collections at the ER and inpatient services, or our new Lamp Access, a free plan that offers 10% off lab, pharmacy, and imaging. Lamp has a plan for everyone. To sign up, visit our website or give us a call. Doctors Hospital, trusted and best care now.
First we plan, then we innovate, then we build. At Bahamas Striping Group of Companies, we are committed to quality, to safety, and to service. We know that the road you take is just as important as your final destination. At Bahamas Striping Group of Companies, it is our job to make sure the road and the ride are as smooth as possible. From striping roads to building them, we are the right choice, the trusted choice, the only choice to help you build your tomorrow.
While most of us are familiar with the concept of a concierge who helps to make planning your vacation outings carefree, Margaritaville takes things a step further with what they call the Navigator Experience. Well, our Marlena Leonard got a sneak peek as to what that all entails when she sat down with condo manager at one particular harbor.
Yes, so condo manager Mark Scholleman essentially told us that it was really important for them to keep the luxury fun here. And that means you don't get a butler, you get a navigator. And it's someone who really makes sure that you can make the best of your vacation without having to worry about planning. So we've got more about the difference between a butler and a navigator.
So we're not going to have like this shoddy guy, oh, good afternoon. No, we're really going to have this guy that's, you know, he's fun, he's open, but he's here to take care of your every need. So before you even arrive on property, we reach out to you. We ask you, you know, what is it you would like to do during your stay with us? So we've created a multitude of events and activities that we're going to be doing right here on the one particular harbor pool deck, separate from all the items we already do at Margaritaville.
One particular harbor is designed to be that home away from home. In fact, one particular harbor's condo manager, Mark Scholleman, tells me it's probably much better than home when it comes to the navigator experience.
So basically, when you come here, it's your chance to relax. You come in, we put your clothes away for you. We make sure that any food items, any beverage items you want in the room, that's taken care of on a daily basis. We'll be doing in-room catering programs, private dinners on the pool deck, on the beach. We're even going to do a floating brunch in the pool eventually for our guests. So really bringing that in, and anything, as long as it's not illegal, our navigators are going to take care of it for you.
While Scholleman boasts that one particular harbor's views are the best on the island, he tells me that as beautiful as the location is, it really is the staff at one particular harbor that sets it apart from the rest.
They are what makes it all possible, so I just feel they need to be highlighted and thanked for everything they do on a daily basis. You know, we're bringing in new team members, continuously training them, making sure that they're up to standard, and you can really see the enthusiasm in them. So I think they're a big part of our current success, but also our successes to come.
And of course, it wouldn't be Margaritaville without the margaritas.
Every suite that's in the Navigator experience is going to get their own margarita machine. They're getting beautiful espresso machines, and we've really decked it out with like the best flatware, china, glassware that you can get, so you can really get that feeling of luxury. We have paint and punches, we have in-suite spa programs, we have bath programs. We have weekly barbecues, manager cocktails, so it's a really awesome program, you know, with that level of luxury, but being playful, super, super playful, and keeping the whole Margaritaville theme in mind.
Yeah, you know, playful is how he described it, and that really is the vibe down here. I don't know if you can hear the music, but here in this green space, you get a good mixture of country, reggae, some soft rock. It's a total vibe down here, honestly. Italia, when you're done, I know you got a spa invite last night, but the party's down here, so you should come down here when you're done.
All right. Okay, Marlena, it all sounds so exciting. That's our Marlena Leonard reporting for us live at one particular harbor. Well, Independence is right around the corner, and there have been scores of events to celebrate, but how do residents feel about the festivities? Our Joshua Williams found out.
There has been a slew of pre-independence events around the country. From concerts to parades and family events downtown, residents we spoke to are giving positive feedback.
It was awesome. It was awesome. I enjoyed that. I love Bahamian music.
I attended the Beat Retreat on Sunday, and it was a pretty good event.
I think I may just go to something before it's all done. I'm sure I'm going to the Government House. Definitely, that's a must. That's a must every year.
Macaulay Knowles was 20 years old when the country celebrated independence for the first time.
And I went to that celebration. And watched all the things that gone through in the parade they had. It's great that the flags went up. We enjoyed the singing. I was still in school. Then.
Residents also spoke about national pride and why celebrating is so important.
I am really proud to be a Bahamian because, first of all, we've come a long way. We have really come a long way. And I think it's more that we could do.
Well, I think it's important to have pride in your country because We have a lot of freedoms that a lot of other countries aren't afforded to.
Independence means a lot to me because this is the country where I was born. We are very blessed. And we have to also say thank you to the father of the nation, Sir Independent, may his soul rest in peace.
Reporting for Our News, I'm Joshua Williams.
It's now time for tonight's Financial Market Minute, brought to you by RF, your local investment bank. This has been your Financial Market Minute. To explore the best performing mutual funds in the Bahamas, visit our website at www.rfgroup.com.
Still to come on Our News, a legendary voice is remembered. Find out the story of a musician who's made a lasting mark on the country.
Bahamians compete in an international tennis tournament held locally, and we update you on Jazz Chisholm's injury. Stay with us, our sports is coming up next.
This is our news. Welcome back. And that was a live look outside the Margaritaville Resort where we are broadcasting live. Well, now in sports, Bahamians reached the finals at an international tennis tournament. And we give you news on Jazz Chisholm's injury. Tej Adderley has a check on sports. Tej?
Today's sports update is sponsored by Michelob Ultra, distributed in the Bahamas by Jimmy's Wines and Spirits.
Thanks, Italia. Hello, good evening. Welcome to Our Sports. I'm Tej Adderley back in the studio because nobody invited me to Margaritaville. The ITF J30 tennis tournament went down last week here in New Providence. A Bahamian doubles team made a deep run in the tournament. The ITF J30 John Canoe Bowl took place last week at the National Tennis Center. Players from all around the world, including countries as far away as Brazil, Hong Kong, and Australia, came to compete. Most notably, a team featuring Bahamians Gerald Carroll and Jackson McTaggart made it to the boys' juniors doubles finals before falling to a pair of Americans, Tommy Rainin and Benjamin Wilworth, in straight sets, 6-4 and 6-love. Now, over a dozen Bahamian athletes competed in the tournament, acquiring valuable international experience, so congratulations to them. We told you yesterday about Jazz Chisholm's injury over the weekend in Atlanta. His team set a timeline for his recovery. The Miami Marlins announced yesterday that outfielder Jazz Chisholm will be placed on the 10-day injured list. Jazz hurt his oblique on Sunday swinging at a fastball. Now, Jazz only got to play 6 games after coming back from a turf toe injury that had him on the shelf for a month and a half. Now, this injury will have Jazz out through the All-Star break, which will give him a lot of time to heal up. Hopefully, he can come back at full strength. That'll do it for sports today. Reporting from not Margaritaville, I'm Tej Adderley.
Well, we're waiting.
I'm alright. Don't nobody worry about me. You got to give me a fight. Why don't you just let me be? Got to catch a day.
Michelob Ultra, distributed in the Bahamas by Jimmy's Wines and Spirits.
Welcome back to our news. We had a few heavy showers today, but will the wet weather continue? With a check on temperatures in your extended weather forecast is meteorologist Greg Thompson. Greg?
Yeah, thanks again, Natalia. Welcome back, everybody, for our final checkup weather. In our water vapor imagery, we're showing a big upper level low that's spinning just to the east of the Bahamas, north of Hispaniola and Puerto Rico. A lot of moisture is being brought across the area, courtesy of that upper level low. It's swinging out of the Caribbean, but it's rotating on the backside of that. So that's bringing some moisture across area, and that's going to continue to trigger some showers and some thunderstorms with the daytime heating and those cooler temperatures aloft. Satellite and radar composites showing the moisture now moving across Puerto Rico and Hispaniola, some of that wrapping around that upper level low, moving across the Bahamas. And as I said, some showers and thunderstorms will remain in the forecast as the system stays just to the east of us. Eventually, it should be moving out towards the east and away from us, and high pressure system will be building across the area over the next couple of days. Future forecast showing the moisture that associated with that upper level low spinning out there. By Tuesday, late Tuesday into Wednesday, more showers will be moving across the area, and then through Thursday, we will continue to see that trend with most of the shower activity occurring across the northwest Bahamas and portions of the central Bahamas. Boating forecast for the northwest and central Bahamas tonight to tomorrow. Winds will be east to southeast at 10 to 15 knots. Seas running 2 to 4 feet over the ocean. Your high tide will be at 9:35 tonight. For the southeast Bahamas, a caution flag in place for you guys down there. East to southeasterly wind flow 15 to 20 knots. Wave heights running 4 to 6 feet over open waters. Here's a look now at your national forecast. In your extended forecast, we'll keep some showers in the forecast through tomorrow, but by Thursday, increased chances for some showers and thunderstorms there. And then by the end of the week, things will quiet out, but those temperatures will stay near the 90-degree mark. Very warm during the daytime hours, and those overnight low temperatures will be approaching the 80-degree mark. That's a look at our weather. Make it a safe night, everybody.
All right, thanks, Greg. Well, this week we've introduced a new segment to the lineup called Our People, a celebration of famous Bahamians. Tonight, Candino Knowles reflects on the life and accomplishments of legendary musician Tony McKay in Our Moments, brought to you by the Independent Secretariat. Let's take a look.
McFarland Gregory Anthony Mackey, better known as Tony McKay or Exuma, is one of the most memorable Bahamian musicians of his time. He passed away on January 25th, 1997, of a heart attack at his home on Canaan Lane. His songs both inspired and taught us how to appreciate all things Bahamian, such as fishing on the rock, ring play, and our national carnival Junkanoo. Simple things that can be overlooked or forgotten. Exuma represented the Bahamian spirit whenever he took the stage with his foot stomping and heart-pounding melodies that echoed to the ears of hundreds of Bahamian listeners. Born on February 18, 1942, his mother took him at the age of 2 and sailed from his Cat Island birthplace to their new home in Nassau. Exuma enjoyed many aspects of Bahamian life, and his music, Brown Girl in the Ring, Cat Island Rake and Scrape Band, and Bam Bam, are a few of his many music titles that truly captures how we live and what we do as a nation. Tony McKay majored in architecture and spent time in the Bahamas Audit Department, but found his calling as an entertainer and songwriter. He also created work displayed in galleries in South Florida. Some of those works are found on his album covers. His style of dress was always eye-catching, with a staple large straw hat with feathers, sometimes bareback, always colorful with ribbons fluttering and unusual neck trinkets that jangled in rhythm with the tapping of his boots. His travel took him to places like Russia, Scandinavia, Brazil, Venezuela, and countless other countries. Whether it was his debut at Café Wa in 1962, or his New Orleans Jazz Festival appearance, Exuma became popular over his 12 consecutive years, gaining a large audience and following. Although he had great thrills from journey and living in different areas, he was always inspired to write about home. His music was captivating, coming deep from within his heart, and reached thousands of listeners. Exuma's memory was honored by thousands of friends and family. Junkaners from all around rushed from the church to the burial ground when he was laid to rest to remember this great Bahamian.
All right, thanks for that, Ken. And of course, to see that story again, you can visit ournews.bs. And with that, we thank you for joining us for our news tonight. On behalf of the entire team, I'm Natalia Hall. We're broadcasting live from the Margaritaville Beach Resort. We'll see you right back here tomorrow at 6:30 a.m. for our news this morning. And of course, tomorrow night for our news at 7 and 7:30. Have a great evening.